All right, so you're hitting the gym, you're feeling motivated,
Yeah.
but are you actually getting the most out of your workouts?
That's a great question, and one we're going to dive into today.
Yeah, we're tackling common exercise mistakes that pretty much, I think we've all made a few.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're really common.
But the good news is
Yes.
fixing these mistakes can really make a big difference
It can. It really can.
in your results.
It's true. It's like fine-tuning a high-performance engine, you know?
Okay.
Even small adjustments can have a big impact on the efficiency and just the overall power output.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's start with warming up. I know sometimes I'm just like raring to go,
Yeah,
just want to skip it and get to the workout.
I get it.
But what's really happening in our muscles when we do that?
Well, think of your muscles kind of like rubber bands or those elastic bands.
Okay.
A cold elastic band is a lot more likely to snap, right? If you just suddenly try to stretch it out.
Right.
The same idea applies to your muscles. When you warm up, you're gradually increasing blood flow to those muscles, which literally warms up the muscle fibers.
Oh, wow.
It makes them more pliable, less susceptible to tears and injuries. Plus, it actually primes your nervous system too, improving the communication between your brain and your muscles.
Interesting. So better coordination, better power output as well.
Exactly.
It's not just about injury prevention. It's like getting your entire system ready to perform.
Precisely.
Yeah, I've noticed if I warm up properly, I definitely feel stronger.
Absolutely.
Okay, speaking of feeling strong, let's talk about something that can really sabotage our workouts, bad form.
Oh, yes. This is a big one.
What's the problem there?
Well, improper form. It's like building a house on a shaky foundation.
Okay.
It's just not going to be stable or safe in the long run.
Right.
Not only do you risk immediate injuries, things like muscle strains or sprains,
Right.
but over time, consistently using poor form can lead to like chronic issues like
Yeah.
joint pain and imbalances.
I've heard a lot about people hurting their backs from squats, for example.
Yes.
What are some things that people tend to do wrong with squats?
Oh, there are a few common ones.
And what kind of damage can that cause?
Well, one big one is letting your knees kind of cave inwards when you squat. And that puts a lot of stress on the knee joint.
Okay.
And that can lead to pain. And over time, even contribute to conditions like patellofemoral pain syndrome, which is a mouthful, I know.
Wow.
Or even meniscus tears. Another common mistake is rounding the back during a squat,
Yeah.
which puts pressure on the spine.
Right.
And that increases the risk of disc injuries or back pain.
So it's really worth it to take that time and just make sure you've really nailed the right form.
Absolutely. It's an investment in your long-term health.
Now, here's something I honestly never really thought about until recently, breathing.
Yeah.
It seems so natural.
Right.
But how does it actually impact our workout?
Breathing is so often overlooked, but it's crucial. It's like the fuel line for your muscles.
Okay.
When you're working out hard, your muscles need a lot more oxygen. And when you hold your breath, you're actually restricting that oxygen supply,
Oh, wow.
which can limit both your power and your endurance.
I see.
Proper breathing, especially diaphragmatic breathing, where you're engaging your diaphragm to really fill your lungs, that ensures that your muscles are getting all the oxygen they need.
So it's like trying to run a car without enough fuel, basically.
Exactly. You got it.
So what's a good way to remind myself to breathe properly during a workout?
A really simple cue is to just exhale on exertion.
Okay.
So as you're lifting the weight or doing that push-up, breathe out forcefully.
Right.
This not only makes sure you're breathing, but it also helps to engage your core muscles, which improves stability and reduces the risk of injury.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have the comfort zone trap. Sticking to the same routine. I'll admit I am definitely guilty of this.
Yeah, we all have our favorites.
What's the problem with doing the same exercises every week?
Well, initially you'll see progress because your body is adapting to that new challenge. But as you keep doing the same routine, your muscles become really efficient at those movements.
Okay.
And then you hit what's called a plateau, where you stop seeing those gains in strength or endurance.
I've definitely hit a few plateaus.
It happens. Like, you wouldn't expect to become fluent in a language by just studying the same 5 words over and over.
Right.
You need to expose yourself to new vocabulary, new grammar to keep progressing.
So how do we expand our exercise vocabulary, so to speak?
I love that analogy.
What can we do to kind of shake things up?
Oh, there are so many options. You can change the exercises that you're doing,
Okay.
increase the weight or the resistance, vary the number of sets and reps, or even just try a completely different style of training.
So like if I've been mostly doing strength training, I could try something like high intensity interval training or even yoga.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even just changing the order of your exercises can be enough to challenge your muscles in a new way.
So it's all about keeping your body guessing.
Yeah, keep it on its toes.
And probably makes working out a lot more interesting. All right, now for our final mistake, and I think this one is particularly important, overtraining.
Yeah,
We all want to push ourselves,
of course.
but how do we know when we're pushing too hard?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
It's important to remember that exercise is a stressor on the body.
Okay.
And while some stress is good for us, too much stress without enough rest can actually backfire.
So how much rest do we really need?
It depends on a lot of factors, like your fitness level, the intensity of your workouts.
Okay.
But in general, most people benefit from at least 1 to 2 rest days per week.
Got it.
Your body needs that time to repair muscle tissue, replenish its energy stores, and adapt to the demands you're placing on it.
Makes sense.
If you just constantly push yourself without adequate rest, you increase your risk of burnout injuries and even a weakened immune system.
So what are some signs that we might be overtraining?
The best thing to do is just pay attention to your body's signals.
Like what kinds of signals?
Things like persistent fatigue, muscle soreness that lasts for several days, difficulty sleeping, decreased motivation, or even just an increased susceptibility to colds or infections. Those can all be signs that you need to take a step back.
So it's really all about finding that sweet spot
It is.
between pushing yourself and giving your body the recovery that it needs.
Exactly. You want to challenge yourself, but you also want to respect your body's limits.
So to recap, by avoiding these common mistakes like skipping the warm-up in proper form, holding our breath, sticking to the same routine, and overtraining,
Yes.
we can really optimize our workouts and get closer to our fitness goals, whatever those might be.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the physical benefits either.
Right,
Exercise has such a profound impact on our mental and emotional well-being.
for sure.
So by training smart and avoiding these pitfalls, you're not just investing in your physical health, you're investing in your overall quality of life.
That's a great way to put it. So as you head to the gym for your next workout, take a moment to reflect on what we've talked about today. Are there any of these mistakes that you might be making? And what small adjustments can you make to really maximize your efforts and unlock your full fitness potential?
Think about it.
And that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining.